Yeah, kill the music. And we're live. We are now live. All right.
So, hello, and welcome to the greatest podcast in this or any other universe. This, of course, is Pop Culture Uncovered. Of course, tonight, I have the guy who typically hosts, Harry.
Hey.
Wearing his traditional Manchester United colors.
Yes.
Did you really have to wear Manchester United? Couldn't have worn anything else?
If you wanted me sane today, you would let me wear my shirt.
Did you see LeBron James offered to walk off to Manchester United when it was part of their tour of the States this year? Did you see that?
LeBron, stick with trying to win rings in basketball and leave the football to real football players.
See, I thought that you would be happy because that means Americans would actually watch soccer.
It doesn't matter. They're not going to watch anyway.
And of course, we have Pete. Pete, how's it going, man?
I'm alive. It's been a good day. It's also my first time in Fantom, which is awesome. Like, I'm situated at the perfect spot to just see all the things that my wallet, wants me to get. Like that right there, and like that book right there, and that Wonder Woman there.
Fantom is awesome. It manages to break my husband budget on a weekly basis. Not to mention it's responsible for a collection of comics sitting in the corner of my room that I'm like, I will absolutely read this book sometime next month.
Exactly.
I'm going to add to that stack, my procrastination stack.
Somehow.
I'm not ashamed.
All right.
So, we have a whole bunch of things to talk about tonight.
Right.
Before we do. Yes.
The purpose of why we're here is Fantom asked us to come out. So, yeah, we want to try to do this a couple of times during the course of the month. We're going to bring you guys a live interactive show where we actually have a crowd of people around. Hi, crowd.
Yay!
Hello, crowd.
Hey, crowd.
Okay. Oh, they left the straight in.
I'm a little shaky.
So yeah, that's why we're here. So
I need you.
So Armand, why are we here?
We're here to discuss Civil War, with Civil War 2, issue number 3, which really is a mouthful when you try to put it all together.
Yeah.
You and your ongoing addition to Pokemon, which I didn't understand before, and after discovering of dead bodies and robberies, really don't understand now either.
That reminds me, we're in a good spot right now.
So yeah, he's going to go hunting.
You're not gonna play Pokemon Go in the middle of the podcast.
I feel like it's topical.
It's not the middle; it's the start. So I mean, why not? He's multitasking.
The first sign of admitting that you have an addiction is acknowledging that you have a problem.
So what's first up on your list? What are we talking about?
Well, actually, the first thing I was going to talk about, based off everything that's been going on, it just got announced that the president is going to have a 1-hour special tomorrow to air on ABC and ESPN.
Really?
Yes.
And what is it going to talk about?
Well, it's called The President and the People, and it's going to be a discussion on racist policing in America. So, the only reason why I mentioned it for the podcast is I can't think of another time when ESPN has preempted whatever its scheduled programming was for a special.
Wow.
So it is what it is. The facts are what they are. I just thought it was interesting, so I give everybody credit for taking prime time to discuss it.
Yeah, my thing of it is, I feel two ways about it. It's one of those things where hopefully it starts a discussion and maybe it'll lead to getting some things actually dealt with and talked about. Because see, what really makes me angry right now is the only place where people have to discuss these things is social media.
Oh, you don't like social media?
Wait, let me finish. I was about to say, and see, the problem is arguments get too one-sided. Arguments get a little bit too one-sided, and nobody's willing to listen. Nobody's willing to discuss, because literally, this is how I feel right now. Is you have people out there that are saying, okay, there are people getting killed in the street, but you have other people saying, well. And that's where the conversation stops. So if this is something that actually helps conversations go from online to in person, that's actually going to do something. Because that's where we are now. We need to actually just stop talking in circles and have to stop having the same arguments and actually start doing.
Well, the only thing that I'll add is that I think social media is great, because I think social media does a wonderful job of exposing all of humanity's deeply and richly held intelligent thought and espousing it in an intelligent way. and you know that I'm playing.
Right.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's trying to keep a straight face there.
I think, you know, I have resolved more long-term humanity issues playing Call of Duty and being cussed at at 3 in the morning by, you know, free dudes like, where you at, boy? So,
I get better political discourse from my 3 cats.
Right.
And that's just
life.
As much as I think this is kind of an unprecedented kind of thing, and an unprecedented. It's been a long time. I'm not unprecedented, but it's been a long time since America sat down and talked about race.
Yeah.
But we also live in an era where whatever good is going to come out of this, I just feel like will be immediately undone on Facebook. There are people who aren't going to listen. People who haven't listened to the president for the past 7.5 years aren't going to all of a sudden flip their listening switch on now.
Right.
They don't have it in them, and that's that.
You know, and I don't disagree with anything either one of you are saying. I guess ultimately, like, you have to make the effort, because in the absence of the effort, you let other you leave a void of leadership, and in the absence of leadership, you know, you're going to get the geniuses who, you know, of Facebook who are like, you know, I've never read a book before, but I heard somebody who read a book said that, and so at that point, I'm kind of just like, better to take the time. I give them credit for picking ESPN because nobody was going to watch it if it was on ABC.
Right.
But putting it on ESPN means that these guys who are like,
you know,
hey, I was trying to watch the Orioles play such and such tonight. What the devil's going on?
We preempt this rerun of Fresh Off the Boat to bring you.
Well, see, at least when they're doing it during All-Star break, there's no baseball game. There's almost no excuse, unless, of course, you're a WNBA fan, but, you know.
Hey, I enjoy women's basketball. I hate baseball. Women's basketball carries me through my summer.
Loving Basketball is one of my favorite movies, so I feel like that counts.
Okay, thank you. By the way, Love Jones the musical's coming out. Please feel free to check that out. Thank you.
Well, I'll wait till the wood comes up.
Moving on.
I'll wait for the wood.
Moving on.
See, he's waiting for the wood to come out.
Going back to Pokemon.
Yeah.
See what happens when we try to have intelligent discourse? You're the Facebook of this conversation right now.
Well, I mean, hey, no one has ever accused Harry of engaging in intelligent discourse on this podcast, ever. But on that note, so when I saw you on Saturday, my first interactions with you were, Armand, don't move. There's a Zubat right in front of you. Act like you're shooing something. And I underestimated what the rest of my week was going to look like as I was dodging the rest of humanity walking down the street as they're all interacting with these things. So perhaps you can explain for me and for the same people online why you started playing Pokemon Go and why
it was there.
Wow. That's the first time I've been able to tie Pokemon Go to climbing Mount Everest. Why did you do it?
Because it was there.
Because it's on my phone.
Can you explain?
You know what?
Can you explain Pokemon Go for the
I don't know if I should. Because I almost feel like, see, this young lady that keeps wandering from the camera, you know what? No, you come here. I actually want you in the shot now. Come here. Turn. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Hey!
Sorry. I didn't know you guys.
So you tell them what Pokemon is all about.
What Pokemon is all about?
What Pokemon Go is about.
It's a. I feel really awkward now. It's a mobile.
Good.
Here. And then I'll just do this.
Pokemon Go is a mobile phone game that uses augmented reality where you can catch Pokemon in real time.
Yeah, it's made by Niantic Games, the same guys who did Ingress, which is another AR game.
Yeah, and you have to, it incorporates real-world like real-world locations where you can go and collect items that help in your Pokemon capture quest. And the idea is to become strong with your team of Pokemon friends and capture gyms. And become gym leaders.
One that was like
and
the
be
most.
The best that no one ever was.
That's the most intelligent explanation of this that I've heard all week long.
Yeah.
Now you in?
No, I'm still looking for
Absolutely not. Are you serious?
What?
We're still waiting for you
That
to play
sounds like a reasonable explanation that would lead me to do
You
this.
would sooner get me to dedicate the next 6 years of my life to playing Destiny, just farming over and over again, trying to get every exotic.
Well, you know what? But technically speaking, there is a lot of farming involved because you're farming Pokemon.
Right.
So here's my question. So traditional gaming farming means I sit on my couch with my beverage and then I just keep doing the same thing over again. In this case, I need to wander around. And the wandering around part is the problem. Because I'm like, when I wander around and I get...
Spend $50, they're going to drop a lyric.
If my wandering around causes me to discover the bodies of the deceased, if my wandering around causes me to be robbed at gunpoint, I begin to wonder if farming in this game isn't a little more dangerous than it was originally contemplated.
Well, see, what happens is...
It's because people are stupid and don't have common sense. That's
You know what?
But sometimes it goes out the window.
He said it exactly as I would say it. Quite frankly, yeah.
Yeah. There are
That's
so many
what it
stories that came out this past week, like St. Louis, Missouri. There was a armed robbery crime spree where they dropped lure modules. So what a lure is, there's Pokestops and gyms. So you can drop a lure module, and what that does, it attracts Pokemon into the area. So people can gather at the area and they can all socialize and capture Pokemon.
Yeah.
So what these guys are doing, they're operating at night. They're dropping their modules in the middle of like parking garages and other places where they control the location. And then random strangers or random people playing Pokemon Go, they would wander in and then they would get jumped. So, I mean, you just gotta be aware of surroundings. I mean, the Gyarados shows you. The Gyarados shows you to be aware of surroundings, and you just, if you're gonna go up Pokemon Going, just go with a buddy.
It was a learning curve for me. Like the first day, we went to brunch. Relatively, like, you know, brunchy neighborhood.
You started playing this foolishness?
Sunday, went to brunch.
Because on Saturday you were like, well, I would never engage in such activity.
Well, see,
That's
what had
fine.
happened was...
Look, I'm a man of no principle.
Yes.
So you can't shame me
No judgment.
for having no
No judgment.
principle. Because it won't work.
No judgment.
Boing.
And you know what? But Armand, what's actually the craziest thing about this whole phenomenon is the simple fact this is probably one of the most buggy games I've ever seen on anything. Console, mobile, whatever. But people are still trying to play.
I think when it works, it really works well.
Yes.
But I don't think Niantic anticipated this being that popular. So there's tons of server issues. Sometimes you can't log on for an hour.
Oh.
There's like server crashes. But again, it's only been out for like 5 or 6 days.
Yeah.
So I mean, they already did 2 patches, and they're promising to do patch updates every 2 weeks. So I'm sure it's gonna be fixed.
That's better than I can get on my 360.
Yeah.
I mean, but do gamers even, does that even deter gamers anymore? 'Cause I mean, you talk about Assassin's Creed Unity. For the vast majority of games, regardless of platform, that you play at this point, without fail, there is the launch failure, and then it is time for the patch. And it's just a question of how severe the patch
Okay,
is.
well, here we go. And actually, before I answer that question, I want to say hello to Evan. He's someone that's actually chiming in as we watch. Hey, Evan. And just to answer, what do we have in front of us? We got a whole bunch of comic books.
This is really good.
We'll get to that in a moment. But here's the thing. I think there's a difference between paying for something that's buggy versus being given something for free.
Right. Okay.
And I think that might be a very big reason because I think it might be a big reason because people already know that the company knows that it's buggy and they're pressed to try to fix it. So it's no skin off your brow if you got it for free. It's a big difference between, okay, I got it for free, I'm gonna get free updates, and it's not requiring me to get a whole lot of IAP just to play versus, well, I spent $60 on this game, and I gotta tell my friends, hey, look, I spent $60 on this game, don't get it until it's fixed, if at all. Perfect example, Batman on PC. And I'm not even saying it funny. I'm being very serious.
I'm waiting to see where you go.
Because you know how bad it was when it came out last year. It required like a ton of patches. And matter of fact, people that downloaded it eventually could not get it because and you know there was a big uproar because people paid money for games they wanted to get on time. They did not want to play it on console. They wanted to play it on their PC, but it was buggy. So of course they got a bad rap for that. But again, yeah, something that's free, something that's on any mobile device. Okay, you know, I don't have to play it right now, but if I don't play it right now, all my friends are going to get ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Armand.
it does work.
Missing out.
Oh.
And see, here's the sad part. When I initially started it, I thought it was gonna be like, you know, a typical MMO where like after you get to a certain point, there's gonna be a grind. I'm like at level 13, and the grind doesn't feel any different than where I was at level 1, and I'm doing actually less work. Because here's the crazy part. What we didn't realize, the hook was, he's gonna play it. He's gonna play it. What we didn't realize was the hook was for people to get their butts and go outside, go socialize, go meet people, go see stuff you haven't seen.
Yeah. Explore your world, Armand.
Yeah.
Explore your world.
Oh, and catch monsters in the
Pokemon Go
park.
has done what no one else could.
Meet your neighbors.
That's
Yeah,
really,
that-
you know, I think we could call that Starbucks. Being in a major American city
Oh,
and
but
walking to a bookstore,
oddly
and the
enough-
same thing happens.
Oddly enough, now there are these things called Pokestops where you can get supplies. Oddly enough, they're not at Starbucks. At least I haven't run across any at Starbucks. But churches,
Yeah, that's a.
Metro style.
Yo, did you see those? You saw Arlington Cemetery, right? You saw they got in trouble because there was stuff. Whatever you
Arlington
people
Cemetery.
do, there were things inside of Arlington and they needed to get that fixed to remove it all from
There were
this.
police stations.
Yeah,
Oh,
Arlington
yeah.
Cemetery,
There's
police
nothing like,
stations.
there's nothing like that
and-
solicitation, arrest that you had. You're like, oh, I might be a locker for the night, but hey.
But can you imagine the police using that to catch people? Like, okay, we got a warrant, but he's playing that
Oh,
Pokemon.
that already happened. The police were using Pokemon Go as a way to like capture criminals already.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Okay, so kids, whatever you established today, that Pokemon Go is like heroin. You don't know anybody who's successful who does heroin. You might want to do Pokemon Go. It's not a good look.
Well,
It's not good for you.
here are a couple of common sense rules that I've run across in the past couple of days.
Okay, one.
Which some that he just. And I'm sorry, what is your name?
I'm Chris.
Chris. Which Chris has mentioned. One, when you go to do it, if you're going to do it at odd times, day and night, or if you're just going to go do it, period, go with friends. Please, for the love of God, unless you can really stick up for yourself, go with your friends.
Just do it. Just go with friends.
Right. If the neighborhood that you're going to go take that gym in looks sketchy, don't go. I'm in East Baltimore. I'm from East Baltimore. I'm like, oh, that's a gym I could. Nah.
And the gym is in the blue light district. I should totally go.
Yeah. That's number one. Number two.
Don't do what I did on Sunday and hold your phone out like this.
Yeah.
So someone could just be like,
Right. Did you know what someone else actually suggested? Actually get like a like a hand loop or something like that,
oh.
or something else too.
I'm thinking now the Power Glove.
Yeah.
Well, right now
Power
they're
Glove.
also coming out with the Pokemon Go Plus. Have you guys heard of it?
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
thing that it does it automatically for you.
Yeah, but
but
it's all
pay
sold out.
attention to your surroundings because you're walking along. All of a sudden, that Meowth, which I have not gotten yet, it's been on my screen twice. Put your back at least against the wall and watch what's going on around. Keep your head on a swivel. And for the love of God, do not go out at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, can I just say something real quick?
Uh-huh.
This is what the general Google results are for Pokemon robberies. Pokemon Go, crimes, robberies, deaths, and other problems. That's the heavy.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what is it? W Baltimore from the Baltimore 11. University of Maryland police investigate armed robberies on campus. Market Watch. Not all fun and games. Oh. USA Today. Teens use Pokemon Go app to lure robbery victims, police say.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Times. 2 men reportedly robbed and carjacked while playing Pokemon Go.
Yep. So, Evan, you got questioned by cops driving through a park at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning? I wonder why. And no, what's even more funny is hearing about a couple of black and white guys getting together and they're playing Pokemon, but it's not a drug deal. Wow. but then my other one too, seriously, because I had to catch myself too. don't wander through a residential area with your phone now because you look like you're either taking pictures of people's houses or their cars. If you don't live there, leave.
I think that we have beat this to death. Is there anything else that needs to be said?
No, we've caught it all.
There are a lot of social goods with Pokemon Go right now. There's an animal shelter that's offering people to walk their sheltered animals while playing Pokemon Go. So that's getting a lot of good press. A lot of small businesses are benefiting from it.
There are some good things. Yeah, businesses are benefiting from it. You know, a lot of shops are advertising. As a matter of fact, one of my friends today in one of my groups actually advertised for a meetup that they're doing at a con over the weekend. So there are some benefits. And then, like I said, the other benefit, of course, is actually getting out and getting an exercise.
That's great.
Meet your neighbors.
Yes, alcohol. They sell it in stores. Sometimes it's good. Some people drink too much of it, and then it's bad or whatever.
Hey, Craig, I see you out there.
All right, so moving along. So, the X-Men are returning, allegedly, to the small screen.
Let me get out, Silver. Don't get out.
Pete,
Bring it back.
that was either high school or middle school. High school, middle school. High school, middle school.
Don't get it out. Don't get it out.
Did you drink an espresso before you came in?
No, this is just my natural X-Men high.
Well,
See what had happened was.
moving on, Fox is optioning an X-Men TV show. Now, this is in addition to the television show that's proposed by FX, which is Legion, which I guess is going to focus on Legion and his rise to lead the New Mutants.
Let me make a quick sidebar.
Right.
For anybody that knows who Legion is, you want to find that New Mutants comic book now while it's still dirt cheap. I believe that was I want to say either issue 23 or 25.
Won't be for long.
Yeah. Get it while it's dirt cheap. I still have my original. But go on.
No, I mean, do we care? I mean, because this is my underlying problem. It's if CBS couldn't do Supergirl at a decent budget and make that show successful, doing the X-Men, what X-Men characters are you going to get? Because are you
budget X-Men?
All right, it's going to be like, we'll give Doug Ramsey a cipher because we don't have to depict anything.
Harry, it's simple as this. It doesn't matter which characters that they get to do an X-Men show on Fox.
Canceled.
Right.
Boom. In one season.
Almost Human.
I'm still a member of Bring Back Almost Human Facebook page.
Firefly.
It's like me and 7 sad dudes.
One season. Terra Nova, which needed to go. One season.
No, what season? No, that was 6 episodes.
That was 5 episodes too many.
By the time.
Plus one.
I can tell you honestly, Terra Nova was canceled so fast, I hadn't even gotten to the second episode of my DVR before the announcement came out. And I was like, well, I can just delete all these.
But Terminator.
Canceled.
Oh, God, do I
That
miss the
it just started to get good.
And see, the problem is, of course, Fox, that made it 2 seasons. I think. 1.5, something. It doesn't matter what the sci-fi franchise is. If you get 1 season, good. If you get 2 seasons, good. If you get 3 seasons, miracle. So I don't care about this news. I will care more to talk about this if it gets on television, survives on 1 season, and makes it to another season.
There's, at this point, because I actually pulled up, this just made me think of it, Birds of Prey. The TV show that came out like 8-10 years ago.
Yes.
And if you look at it, the quote, barring Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl, who got a good treatment, but the kind of stuff that shows up on network TV when it comes to superheroes is always one step above, and I'm being generous,
Sci-Fi Channel.
one step above the kind of stuff you see fans do on YouTube.
Oh, I think that's unfair because I've seen fan stuff that's better.
That's true. Your average fan stuff on YouTube.
Yeah,
Whether you can tell like they don't take it seriously, but they don't care because they're having fun. I would rather watch that than watch Fox take a swing at something with a half-ass, with a half-ass swing.
Arst.
This is a kid from the show.
Arst. See, here's the thing. Somehow they managed to pull what's going on 3 seasons out of Gotham, and I'm sorry, I am not a Gotham fan. I'm not a Gotham fan, and I think I've said it. A show about a superhero who's not even there, and they get 3 seasons.
I have a fix for that show.
Batman.
No, it's too late. Batman won't be Batman. That show would have to be its 14th season for Batman to be Batman.
Hold on.
You've already
Are you telling me that Fish Mooney wasn't sufficient to draw you?
You've already established in this show that every single criminal, if you do the timeline right, every single Batman's arch villain, every single one is going to be 20 years older than actual Batman. So you know what you do? Kill Bruce Wayne. Get rid of him. No more Batman. It's an alternate timeline anyway. So let's just get rid of Batman. There will be no Batman. Make that your thing. Make it Commissioner Gordon against Batman's rogue.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gotham Knights?
Done.
What was the name of that comic book?
I don't remember the name of the comic book.
No, but it's on the tip of my tongue.
Gotham Central.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on.
That's what they should have called this show.
Okay, well look, if I can go through time like like Jean Bon Jovi from the DirecTV commercial was late.
Yeah.
If we could go back to earlier days of the podcast, when Gotham was originally announced, we said, why are they not making Gotham Central? Gotham Central works because you never actually have to see Batman. You can see everybody else but Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But they did Gotham. So now this is my question for you guys. Going back to Fox and X-Men, wouldn't this be better if we got to the point where Marvel does the deal with Fox to re-engage with the X-Men? Because it seems that seems to be bubbling in the background so far as the movies are concerned. You don't think it would be any better?
Marvel needs to just stick with Netflix.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a little questionable.
That doesn't exist right now in my mind. Marvel needs to
It's
stick.
light enough there. It fit.
Marvel needs to just stick their wagon on with Netflix. If they're not going to stick it with Netflix, they need to pick a cable channel and stick it on because honestly, I feel like the regular networks, the terrestrial networks, are too fickle in what they want. NBC tried to get Constantine. Constantine should have been nowhere near network television for the content that they provide. That should at minimum have been on Sci-Fi Channel. That should have been on AMC, where Preacher is.
I could handle an X-Men animated series done in like a grown-up kind of way, like you see Adult Swim miniseries go.
There's the animated. There's the animated version.
Wolverine and the X-Men.
Right.
Oh yeah,
it was
X-Men
good.
Evolution.
Yeah.
There was
The anime, yeah.
Right, the anime.
Yeah.
A live-action X-Men, you're asking to commit to some special effects that I can't see a network, especially Fox, commit to.
Well, to piggyback on top of that, a good X-Men story is rather dark. I mean, unless you're doing Jubilee nonstop, most X-Men stories are not like happy, joy stories. They're I mean, look, the analog for the X-Men has always been it's Malcolm X and it's MLK.
Right.
It is dealing with issues of being outsiders in society, about being outcasts, about how does society address those issues, and that's not light fare. No, the New Mutants you might be able to do relatively light fare because they're supposed to be
that would actually be a CW show, right?
I mean, right, because when Claremont did it was supposed to be much lighter. His X-Men run at the time was kind of like. It was like, as a matter of fact,
there's no hope.
The New Mutants came up right when all the X-Men got killed by the adversary. It was about as dark as that book got, because it was like, there's no hope for anybody. We're going to sacrifice ourselves to save everybody. When the New Mutant came up, Xavier's thing was, there are no more X-Men. You were all just students. I'm just trying to teach you. And it was like the kid-friendly adventures of the guys who should have been X-Men if the X-Men hadn't gotten wiped out. So, suffice it to say, I guess we can collectively say we are not waiting with bated breath to see this.
It's like most things, though. I'll be wary. I'll be hopeful. I'll be disappointed.
Get to me when there's a trailer.
Yeah, and I
get to me when there's a trailer.
Hey, those folks should try that.
Well, and for better or for ill, my wife is out seeing it right now.
Ghostbusters?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, Gina, I'm sorry.
I want it to be good. That's all I want.
You know what? I guess I'm like this. I hope it's a good film because I care about the franchise. Personally, I can just be honest with you to tell you, the first one for me was perfect. I really hate the second one. So it was like seeing a new version of a movie that I'm kind of like, I'm still emotionally attached to the original one. I hope it's a successful franchise because it's like, look, there are some things.
That's not what you said Saturday.
No, no. On Saturday, I said I don't really care about seeing it, but now I feel like there's such an avalanche of negativity directed at that film. I almost wanted to see it succeed. So it's like, because you know how it is, guys. It's like if you have a film that has 4 intelligent women in it and the movie fails, the automatic reaction is we can't make these kinds of films. So it's there's going to be another property that's a really great idea, and I don't want to see that idea that's an original idea get killed because this fails.
Which is why, no matter how much at every turn, everything about this movie has disappointed me, from the first trailer to the second trailer to the music, I'm still like, okay, it's still gonna be good. You know, there's an episode of The Simpsons when Homer's got like this big nasty sandwich, and he's like, no, it's a pig. Anyway, it like falls on the guy. It's still good. It's still good. And then like gets run over by a car. He's like, it's still good. It's still good. Like I have that kind of feeling about the new Ghostbusters movie. Like I'm still waiting. Like please, it can still be good. I hate everything I see.
It's pretty interesting. A lot of the reviews, it's been getting like pretty favorable, or at least not as bad as people thought. Like it's, I don't know if you subscribe to the Rotten Tomatoes system, but it got like a 70%, and Batman vs Superman got 27.
But on the flip side, yeah, I've been hearing that a lot of people have been trying to kill.
Yeah, there's this.
They've been trying to kill the good review.
There's this image that's been going around. It was a screen cap of a Reddit thread where these two guys are trying to organize like a smear campaign against the reviews, saying, "Oh, all these reviews were actually paid for," and they're trying to discredit the movie. So it's pretty stupid.
I'm like, people are investing a lot of time and energy and hatred because it's still a film. I mean, it's not like.
But it's not like Total Recall. I mean, I wish people had spent that same kind of energy on Total Recall. I mean, if you want to kill a reboot, that should have been one to murder.
Oh, okay, look, and I'm gonna say something else. If it wasn't called Total Recall, that would have been.
Exactly.
That would have been like a halfway decent movie. But because I knew it was supposed to be Total Recall, it just ended up being like.
It wasn't my Total Recall.
You know what? You know what? To be perfectly honest, that Total Recall, the reboot, reminds me of Quantum Break, the video game, in the sense that the hype was so over the top. This is a great game. No, it's not. It's all right. If everyone wasn't trying to tell me this was the most revolutionary game that you were ever gonna play, good night. Then it would be okay. But because it's so super hyped, it's like, no, Colin Farrell really is like the new Keanu Reeves in terms of the most like.
Can I just say something about like all this like Ghostbusters hate that's going on out there? Ghostbusters is like a 30-year-old property.
Thank you.
It's a 30-year-old property that has had nothing going for it for 30 years except people's memories. And those memories, guess what? They're nothing but memories. And the thing about everything nowadays is it's IP.
Yes.
It's all about IP. It's about getting new eyes on the thing and keeping it going into the future. That's what Disney did with Star Wars. That's what they're doing with so much more. And let's be honest, again, it sat there dormant for 30 years. And there is a demographic, a female demographic that is going to movies that wants to see things that look like this.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So why in the world would not men want women to actually enjoy and more new eyes on this thing that they love? You know, I just don't get it.
Oh, you mean why would men irrationally behave in a fashion?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's getting new eyes on this thing that they love. Like, if some, like, okay.
You know,
I did not like.
Let me
Let me just finish it.
Wait.
Look, I didn't love Batman versus Superman. If anybody asked me to my face, what did I think? I'd say I didn't really like Batman versus Superman. But if you want to go see it, I love Batman. Go see it because you love Batman. I'm not going to say, no, you can't see it because this is not the Batman that I would like to see.
Right.
It's just not what I'm interested in. But if you find some kinship in it, it's all on you.
I agree with you.
And that's what, you know, I felt like we grew up in a time where, pretty much all of us grew up in a time where if you got a superhero movie, it was the first. You didn't see another one for 5 years.
Oh, you mean the Fantom? Because I paid good money to go see the Fantom.
The Fantom was dope.
I
love Billy Zane.
I hadn't had a relationship with a movie like that since I had seen Flash Gordon when I was like 3, and it was my first movie. So I was like, oh, the Fantom? Oh, man.
But so now anything we don't love, you know, we nitpick, and I'm just as guilty. My thing is, why I'm still going to see Ghostbusters. And I'm still giving it a shake, not just because my wife, you know, really, really wants it to be good, and I really, really want it to be good, is because Well, one, Paul Feig already did me once with Melissa McCarthy in a movie, which was Spot, where the trailer was terrible.
That was a good movie?
And it actually ended up being very good, because I was like, oh, this is just going to be a bunch of like physical comedy and fat jokes centered around Melissa McCarthy. And it was very cagey about, none of them were cruel and stupid and cheap jokes. It was very, it was smart humor, and Melissa McCarthy can carry that kind of humor. So I'm just disappointed at every turn with everything I've seen when it comes to Ghostbusters, but I'm still going into that theater, fingers crossed, big bag of popcorn, and if I come out as wrong as I was about Heath Ledger's Joker, so be it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this, and this is a specific comment about the music, right. Right. It was the visceral reaction. Man. It was the visceral reaction to the soundtrack. And the only reason why I mentioned that is Suicide Squad. That song from the very first trailer. You want to know how much music still sells a movie? There are so many bootleg copies of that song available for purchase on iTunes. Somebody literally took the audio feed from the trailer and looped it, and for 99 cents you could buy that because the actual song doesn't come out on the soundtrack. It wasn't going to be on the soundtrack, and so they were like, because it's like a remake. I forget what it is now, but it's a remake of another older song. It was only going to be one of these songs that only appear in the trailer. They were like, all of America really wants to see this movie, and they keep playing the first trailer because they like the song. So maybe you could have saved, the fans, response for the Ghostbusters if the song had been better. But everybody apparently heard it, and I was like, that's not Ray Parker Jr. That's not Bobby Brown quality music. but it's like freaked out.
It's like I said, and I think I said in the last podcast, one of the things that kind of where I'm stuck on this ledge is, I feel like there's legitimate critique surrounding this movie and everything about every aspect of its promotion, from whether you can't decide whether you want to play into the nostalgia and be like, 30 years ago these scientists did this, or you want it to be a complete reboot where 30 years ago these scientists didn't do anything because it's a new story, where you're playing old Ghostbusters songs and Papa John's commercials and putting,
trying to get people back
and putting boys on the cover of the Ghostbuster toys that you sell at Target. So everything that they're doing is playing. It seems to be to be making the wrong kind of choice. Yet if you have any legitimate critique about this movie, the automatic label is you don't like it because it's got women. And I'm like, that's a weak ass. It's a weak argument.
Can you stop with your affection for that one word?
He likes R's.
Lord, my ears are bleeding because
dovetailing.
Anyway.
Oh, see, Paul is gone in. Too hot to handle, too cold. See, no, we're not doing that, Paul.
That is the best Ghostbusters.
Stop. Okay, we can't say it.
That is the best Ghostbusters.
But we dovetailed. We were going to talk about people inflating and deflating stuff. So, and I'm gonna talk briefly about it so we can move right along. But this whole PewDiePie thing about him getting paid to review video games, I'm not exactly surprised that this has come up yet again, and I say yet again because there was that incident that happened a couple of years ago with IGN and a couple of other people where, I'm not surprised nowadays that when you got these big corporations, there are things that we talked about when we built this website that I said, and this is part of the reason why I said I want things to be the way they are. Because when big corporations like the gaming companies and things of that sort get into the pockets of these websites, I don't care how many times a Madden football game, a FIFA game, a Call of Duty game comes out, it almost always gets the same grade.
Is this the conversation when you were telling me that Armand, we can't sell our morality for cash? And I was saying we really could, and you said no? Yeah. Oh, okay, I do remember.
I feel like that's a conversation that would happen.
Yes. Because I'm no longer surprised when these things pop up.
Yeah.
You got this guy who's getting paid an arm and a leg to go out and YouTube stuff that people will actually just sit and watch rather than play video games. But then we're surprised when we find out, oh, he got paid to fudge around the numbers. Because I'm sorry. I felt like this. I felt a bit vindicated last year when we did our review of Star Wars Battlefront, and I looked at everybody else. When I looked at IGN, when I looked at GameSpot and Polygon, a couple of other ones. Actually, Polygon was actually closer to what I thought it was. But all of the bigger companies were like, well, despite what's going on with the game, despite the multiplayer and the single player, I really love this game and I want to give it an 8.5. that was not an 8.5
You
game.
can still love a game, but you can't lie
Don't-
about how good it isn't.
Don't lie.
I think the whole PewDiePie situation is like it's blown way out of proportion because one, like back in 2014, even before all these regulations came to light, he's very open about to his audience. So he straight up put it into the about comments section that this is a sponsored content, sponsored video. So for him he did everything for full disclosure, and it's a lot of these articles. They're saying like PewDiePie reviewed it, but he didn't really review it. All he did was just play the game and just say what he thought. He just didn't know let's play video. And I feel he's just being crucified because he is the most popular YouTuber ever, and I think it's really unfair to him.
But you know, you bring up a good point though about sponsorship, because see, that's kind of an issue when it comes to sponsorship. Is how far are you allowed to go to collect on said sponsorship?
Well, how much independence do you continue to have if you're going to take sponsorship? No, look, and that's real. I guess my question is more as a gamer. It's you kind of as a gamer know there are certain opinions you can trust and certain you can't.
Right.
And I don't want to be unfair, but look, I mean, I'm an old school gamer. I've been playing for forever. I would never make a purchase decision based off IGN because it's been 7 or 8 years since I felt like IGN really gave me a genuine review about anything. Polygon I will go to because Polygon, a lot of times the review comes late because they won't review the game until they can actually do the retail version of the game.
Right.
So if they can't get full access to the multiplayer and everything, they won't do it. Right. And then the rest of it, as a gamer, being a gamer is kind of like being a comic book fan. I don't go to any of the other competing websites to say, do I want to buy this issue? I'm going to ask the people I know in the comic book store that I go to, do you read blah, and is this any good? Because it's kind of like, does anybody think that, the major companies are not going to say, Civil War Part 2, number 3 is an amazing series? They have to. I mean, who's going to, Convergence by DC last summer got positive reviews some places, which I still struggle to understand.
Yeah. But it's sort of, that point that you mentioned, it's when you have a good rapport with certain people, and this is why it's good to have this kind of rapport with real people. They're going to give you the straight dope. Like, for instance, some of the guys at my GameStop, they know not to ask me whether or not I'm going to reserve matter because they already know I'm not going to get it. They know I'm not the one to ask about that. And that's how it should be. It's like, don't solicit something that you already know that the customers coming in are not getting it. I can go to them and say, well, what do you think about XYZ game? Because, I know you're getting paid to work here, but what do you think? And a lot of them are like, look, I don't care how much I'm getting told to push Call of Duty. If you're a Call of Duty fan, you're going to be in. But if you're that guy that's on the fence, trust me, stay away from this. That has happened. That's what I want to hear. As a consumer, when I'm about to drop some money on something, I want to be told whether or not it's a good investment. Because the thing of it is, we're living in a world now. You know what? Let me back up a second. There actually used to be a time where you could get a game, and within a couple of days, you could bring it back. But that doesn't happen anymore.
That was Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
I was just thinking because it had to.
Honestly, yes, that's about as far back. I think
most Super Nintendo games.
Right about up until the time we went into the PlayStation era, because of course now people were replacing discs.
Yeah, I might have seen that happen when I was in college.
Yeah, right up until the time when we got to PlayStation and everything, there was a time where consumer return policies were across the board. You go out, you buy a game, you didn't like it, you could bring it back and get a refund. But nowadays, no. Once you get that game, you're stuck. As soon as you open it.
Well, Valve and Steam, they're doing good because some time ago they unveiled their refund system. So if you're a PC gamer, you buy a game off of Steam, you can get, and it's all digital copies. You can get your refund through that way. But in terms of like consoles and physical copies, it's non-existent.
I'm just gonna say ultimately, I guess in kind of closing, it's look, if you're going online, it's back to the, well, if it's on the internet, it must be true. No, it's not. I think it's buyer beware, be mindful about the sites that you're going to.
Right.
And look, if you're on somebody's YouTube channel, like, look, YouTube is a way to generate income. We do YouTube. I love YouTube. But no, and so, it's kind of like, always exercise your best judgment. And this is America. Everybody's trying to sell somebody anything. Which, by the way, if you should happen to need some sand, I've got great sand to sell.
That's Pokeball to sell too.
So moving on. in the last couple of weeks, DC has made, not just DC, but DC and Marvel have made increasing efforts on diversity.
Yep.
And in their
Very mixed results.
and in their efforts, interesting things have happened. And what I would like to open the conversation with is the prevalence of the creation of African American characters with the relationship of basketball being their central activity. And the reason why I say that is because you had Mosaic, which was the human character that was revealed, I think was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
The book came out, and of course, he was a basketball player as his occupation before everything. And now it was announced this week that in October, DC will come out with a new version of the Vigilante. For those of you who aren't...
Whoa. The Vigilante.
Yes. For those of you who yes. See, everybody, see, we're in the know here, people. We're in the know.
We're in a comic book store. We just gotta be.
For those of you who aren't familiar, Adrian Chase, way back in the Marv Wolfman, George Perez days of the Teen Titans, was the DC analog for the Punisher, with a much better uniform, by the way. He will actually be appearing in Arrow this fall in the new season. Vigilante and Wild Dog will be appearing in the season.
Wow.
So having said,
So wait a minute, I gotta watch one more season of Arrow.
Yes, you do.
Shoot.
Because now you're going to have Responsible Oliver as the mayor, so he can't go out killing people. But we digress. So the new Vigilante will also be a failed African-American NBA player whose girlfriend is violently murdered. So,
I don't want to watch one more Arrow.
No, that's the comic book. That's the comic book. And the new DC miniseries will be a failed African-American basketball player whose girlfriend is murdered, and he becomes a vigilante. So on top of that,
Hold on. Do you remember Zero?
I don't.
No, I remember.
Zero was a DC comic where it was a successful basketball player. It was written by Christopher Priest of Black Panther fame.
Yes.
Successful basketball player who was actually a hitman. So in order to make his hits, he would actually
Go play basketball.
cosplay as a white person. That is the real thing.
Okay.
Twist.
Now I will say one, I would buy that. And that probably says a lot about the quality of my humanity. Because that
Boy Scout means
okay, this is a side note, but have you read Renato Jones?
No.
Okay, you should read Renato Jones because if you have any anger behind the fact that you want a 1%er, you should read a comic book where all he does is kill 1%ers.
Wow.
I mean, it's about the darkest image book I've seen. But I digress because what I really want to have your attention with is this book that came out this week.
No.
And I just want to say that as a minority in America, I'm offended that DC put this book out. And the reason why I'm offended is because I understand the general idea of attempting to do diversity, but when you do diversity, there are a few small things that I ask. I ask for creativity and originality and an appreciation for the native culture. And so the names. Because I can't even find it right now.
This is the Chinese Superman.
This is the Chinese.
Oh, okay. Well, let's give them an idea what this is.
Right.
Okay. It's the Chinese Superman. Period. There's not an original bone in this story except they took everything that made Superman, they put him in China. Instead of him being a Boy Scout, he's a bully. And instead of him coming from another planet.
Well, be fair. He's not just a bully. He's a bully to the guy who's...
He's a bully.
He's a bully to the guy whose father runs the airline that his mom died on.
He's a bully.
But he's a bully.
With a heart of gold.
With a heart of gold.
Oh.
And spoiler, yes, I'm spoiling this. He gets his powers artificially. So they
No. In an origin chamber.
Where have we seen that, boys and girls?
Oh, it gets better. Because I just want to do no. Because you have to let me. I just want to share.
I was gonna look the names up.
No, I just want to share with you all of you. Can you guys see this?
Spoiler.
This is the spoiler. This is the Batman of China and the Wonder Woman of China, which makes these the second and third dumbest ideas I've seen out of DC. Because I still remember Batwing, which was the Batman of Africa.
At least he had his own name.
Batwing.
Can you see? Well, who stopped those criminals? The Batman of China.
If I was going to write a book,
oh, this was lazy. You want to talk lazy? This was lazy.
It's like some 10-year-old idea. Whoa.
By the Batman and the Wonder Woman
of China.
Oh, and the name of the arc is called Made in China, so.
That
So wait.
that shows more creativity than anything else.
So maybe that might be a portmanteau that this book was bootleg.
That was much fun. It was much funnier conceptually than it was in the articulation.
But I get you.
All I'm gonna say is that if it's wonderful for us to be able to have characters that look like us. It's even better when I think they make an attempt to actually reflect like the actual real world reality, and then it's even better if it's actually a good book.
Right.
And none of those things are present in New Superman.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So like you have Riri Williams as the new Iron Man,
Right.
And then you got the new Superman. What would you? I mean, would you rather just have like new POC characters as brand new superheroes by themselves, or do you think it's just bad writing to shoehorn
Wait, you know what?
POCs into legacy characters?
This would have been better if this was just a new character instead of we're just going to take an Asian character and give him a half-butt origin story of him becoming Superman.
I don't agree. I don't agree at all. Hold on.
Let's find another full fight it. Fight it out.
Challenge! No. Let me tell you the reason why this is a missed opportunity. Because DC just killed off the New 52 Superman. There is a vacant opportunity for a good character. When this book was announced, I decided to buy it. I decided to buy it under the expectation of this character is gonna fill a void. Now, as soon as I saw the Batman and the Wonder Woman of China, I was like, they're not taking that angle. I think what Marvel has done with the female Thor, I think that's important. They created a fantastic character out of that. They reused Jane Thor. They just did great with it. No one's going to sit here and tell me that Miles Morales, who basically is just Peter Parker all over again in high school, hasn't been a fantastic idea. As of late, it's had its stumbles as Bendis tries to address issues of race, which I don't know he's necessarily skilled on that topic enough to do. But is that character worth it?
At least he's trying.
The fact that my kids have that mask that they picked for themselves says everything. Miss Marvel, there's no question that Kamala Khan matters. And Riri Williams, if she's done well, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm concerned because Bendis is writing her, and I love Bendis in general. When Bendis touches race, I don't know that it's necessarily a great idea. All those moves make sense to me. This, none of it's
no sense.
Well, it's just none of the thoughtfulness
nonsense.
is there. So I guess what I'm saying is I agree with you. I think ideally it's fantastic to have brand new characters, but the superheroes are also almost always about legacy as well, and it's important to have people of color, and women and transgender folks and everyone else who populates the real world to be a part of that legacy. And I mean, look, did it matter to anybody that Batwoman was a lesbian, or did it matter that we had a new mysterious Bat character that was phenomenally qualified? Because last time I checked, that was one of the most successful ones of detective that anybody can think of. And Batman himself didn't show up for a full year.
Right.
So I think you can have both. I think as a fan now, it's fair to expect both. And I think that comics fails in its mission to develop new readers when it fails to deliver on that.
But see, but my point is, it's just that I think that we're very much in a place where the comic book community is accepting of new ideas. So the things have to get shoehorned into the old ideas. Hence, two black Iron Man. A new black.
We had to lose one to get another one.
Yeah. And it's like, the new Miss Marvel. Guess what? The name isn't like doing anything right now, so we may as well actually put a character in there who actually has a new story.
Yeah.
But nobody's actually going to buy anything from the big two unless it actually has a bat on it, or it comes out of the Justice League franchise, or something like that.
New Superman.
It's a new Superman.
It is. It's so generic. It is so. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's new Superman.
Yes,
but it's a book that
what if it's even worse? It's like, look up in the Tokyo sky. It's a.
That's the one.
It's the Chinese Superman.
It would be Shanghai. It would be I get it right. Get it right.
That's the next new Superman.
To me,
look, up in the Mexico City sky.
It's the Mexican Superman.
It's the Mexican Superman.
And you know what? Right about now,
they will put a sombrero on Mexican Superman.
Right about now, we should have that Family Guy segue where they hey Mexican Superman, but you get all the keys. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, all I'm going to say is, I think this is a phenomenal missed opportunity. I think this character...
It's just a bad.
No, it's not just a bad book. It's the look. you had killed off the flagship Superman. There was a slot there.
No,
I mean, yes, it was. Well, how did you?
well,
Hold on.
technically, they killed off the new 52 Superman
Yes.
because they still had the old Superman in store.
Okay,
I'm still trying to figure that
I'll
out.
put it to you just like this. Miles Morales was the single most important thing that happened in the entire Secret War miniseries. And how did you get him? They killed off Peter Parker. Did Bendis bring him back later on in that same book? Yeah, he did. But Miles got a shot because there was a void. You don't get a whole lot of opportunities to kill major characters off and slot new folks in and actually get readers. So I think it's a phenomenal missed opportunity. And I think it would have been great. So moving on, do we want to talk about Civil War now?
I think we have to.
So
We get a taste of
this happened this week. Civil War 2, Part 3. Which
makes me so angry.
I think this is great because I was like, you know what? There's nothing I like better than having a really old movie like Minority Report just get slammed into the middle of a book.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I know there was when I was online, people were talking about, there's so many analogs with police brutality and unjustified force, and I was like, really? All I really see here is Tom Cruise in Minority Report. There's no deeper narrative for me. It's
This is exactly how me and Bell talked about it yesterday. I said the same thing. I said, you find a guy who is a precog, who sees the future and sees the Hulk killing everyone. Where did we see that storyline before? Philip K. Dick. Okay, that's all Civil War is. It's just like we're just doing Minority Report with superheroes. And what happens? We not only we had one casualty, one maybe casualty. Now we have another casualty. But then the other issue is this book is told in a flashback because it's 9 months later. What took place in those 9 months?
the miniseries will fill that in for you, Harry. There's the 7 or 8 miniseries, including Civil War of the Fallen, Civil War the Accused. We'll fill in all those holes for you for a tidy sum.
Civil War the musical. Civil War the animated series.
Can I raise a separate point? And this is a death that doesn't matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter, because spoiler if you didn't know,
Don't spoil it.
the guy who typically this character died in the book. Now, it doesn't really matter because he's not the guy who appears in the Hulk book right now. I'm a right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
really it's like it's like somebody killing off a useless character who wasn't doing anything and who hadn't appeared in the book since Secret War anyway.
Can I just say, the trial aspect of this book was very taut and very good. I like the courtroom, and we're flashing back to the things that actually happened. And the relationships between the characters feel real, feel visceral. When you see, Carol Danvers and Tony Stark and like how they're it feels real. It feels good. It's good, right?
You see the look of disbelief. You see the look of disbelief on my face. Because I could take Carol Danvers and Tony Stark and put Cap and Stark right there. Like, oh look, it's just like last time.
I'm not saying the story isn't there. I'm saying that like it's got good dialogue.
But I'm feeling so much. You know what?
But
I think out of the last couple of events that have come out of Marvel, no matter how good or bad that they were, I feel like this one's being forced just for the sake of the suspense.
Marvel Now, the new Marvel Now.
Because I'm just like the more this goes along, I'm saying to myself, why are we even bothering to have? Oh wait a minute. They have to fill a quota to have their event book for the summer.
Bro, why are you being so cynical? We're doing this so you can get Occupy Avengers, which is a real book that's coming out after this event. Hawkeye will be a member of the team. Occupy Occupy Avengers, U.S. Avengers,
which looks real dumb.
Hey,
Avengers musical?
Squirrel Girl's in that book. Get it right.
Avengers the reality series.
Who?
Avengers in hip hop.
Who Avengers the Avengers?
Horsey.
Are you
I got a Horsey.
Are you playing Pokemon Go?
That's how much he lost interest in reviewing Civil War. It drove him straight to Pokemon. You know what?
I thought it was a good point.
Here's my question now. On a scale of 1 to 10,
Poops on.
what do you give this book?
I give it a 5, and you know why? Because I'm not. Because it's look, the art is great, the lettering is good. Look, this is the traditional summertime popcorn comic book event book. It's like Independence Day Resurgence. If anybody was looking for a thoughtful Shakespearean experience, you walked into the wrong theater.
You eat popcorn when you read comics? It's oil over the pages.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, Pete. That might be the case, but it certainly isn't as bad as, I don't know, playing a video game in the middle of your own podcast.
Oh, dang.
How dare you?
This is an important subject we should discuss.
He's multitasking.
Oh, yes.
He's multitasking. You leave Peter alone. He's multitasking.
I'm looking for Pokemon on Users Anonymous. Just for you. Well,
Now I'm not playing on camera. I'm playing off camera.
All right. So what other book came out this week? We've like totally trashed them. Are there any good books that came out this week?
yes. There are lots of them. First and foremost, if you're not reading Daredevil by Charles Soule, you really need to be. It's a phenomenal book.
About a lawyer, written by a lawyer.
Is that why you like it?
Y'all are some haters, you know.
No, I'm not
I'm just
hating.
asking.
I'm actually
Put the
giving
questions.
credit.
Put questions on the table.
No, but now that you're paying attention. Yeah.
Well, it's
Go on.
Tell us more, Armand.
I get to have to say thank you. So, no, look, ultimately, Charles Soule has done a really good job of architecting out this new run on Matt Murdock, where he's a prosecutor. We talked about it on the podcast before. Now Matt's a prosecutor as opposed to being a defense attorney, which was actually acknowledged in Civil War II as he was prosecuting Hawkeye. But more importantly, you know, look, when you reboot a character, you always have your obligatory couple of issues when it's kind of dark.
Right.
So the last so far the run had been fairly dark because it was the Matt starting all over and all that. The last 2 issues have been great because this is like Matt playing James Bond, and so it's much more lighthearted. And he's teaming up with Spider-Man, as in the current version, the Tony Stark as Amazing Spider-Man.
Right.
And it's just, where the book had been really serious before, it's just a really fun book.
Well, good, because see, my friend Philip, he has no interest in reading Civil War because he doesn't see a point to it. So, Philip, we'll kindly recommend that you at least read Daredevil. Because as far as we know right now, none of the Civil War books should be interfering with your regular read. What else? What else you got for us?
Oh, by the way, I always tell everybody, you can read anything from Valiant. So, you have Ninjak. Definitely should be Ninjak. Written by Matt
I see a
Kent.
lot of lights going across the screen.
And Bloodshot. Dear America, if you don't read Bloodshot, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Bloodshot has been phenomenal. The storyline arcs have been great. And this is a great time, so you should pick up a trade and pick up this issue. Lots of you probably cared about that. This came out this week. I haven't read it yet, but I remember back in the day when we had a commentator on the show who consistently talked about Dick Grayson's butt cheeks. And I will tell you that I can tell you that demographic has been maintained, because if you see the promo images for the book, it's literally him looking over his shoulder with his butt showing. But I would say that as well. Obviously, there's also this. I love this book. Power Man and Iron Fist have consistently been one of the most entertaining books I've read. Now,
Underrated. Totally underrated.
Now, some people don't like the art, which, I mean, hey, that's everybody's got their own particular taste. But nobody can debate the quality of the writing. So, Mr. Walker I've read his Shaft stuff. I was reading his Cyborg stuff when he was doing it on DC. He's been knocking out the park on this. And oh, by the way, he writes a book by the name of Nighthawk. Nightmare.
Yeah.
Nighthawk?
I think, no. Nighthawk.
Pete. Nighthawk.
He's just being so contrary
You
right
can't
now.
get to me right now.
Well, on that note, we of course are coming towards the tail end of our show, which means it is time for
next week's
polls. So, Harry, what are you reading next week?
Chew 56, because we're now starting to wind down on Chew. John Layman has had a very fantastic run of that book. I will be sad when that book ends. That is the only other series outside of The Boys that I've read from front to back and thoroughly enjoyed all the way through. And by the way, if anybody out there is still watching, we do have a review going up pretty soon, because Alien versus Predator versus Dread comes out next week. It's a very good mashup that he worked on along with I believe his name Chris Mooneyham, excuse me, who also did work on Five Ghosts. So that's going to be a very good book. And one of the questions I'm going to ask John when we get to see him in Baltimore in a couple of months, what's he doing, quote unquote, now? Because once Chew is done, I'm sure John is going to be all over the place. And I'm still expecting to get some news about the show that's supposed to have been coming up as well.
All right, Pete, what are you reading next week?
So this rebirth thing, I've got to get back in sometime. That's how I feel with DC. Many of my favorite superheroes are in the DC universe. I cannot ignore them. I jumped out a couple years ago, and then I've just kind of been biding my time. So rebirth is a perfect time for me to rejoin Birds of Prey.
Okay.
So I'm kind of excited about that. Shauna Benson is the writer, Claire Rose the artist, and I don't know, the cover, everything about it kind of already looks good to me, and I like the idea of a Batgirl Black Canary reunion, and the idea is basically that somebody figured out that that Batgirl had once been Oracle, since we're still dealing with the rewritten timelines and everything. So. And that basically someone is posing as the Oracle and doing stuff, and just getting this group of characters back together for me is a lot of fun. Birds of Prey was a fun book almost all the time, so I'm excited. We'll see. I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot. It's one of the few rebirth titles that I'm excited to read. There it is.
Well, all right, next week I am reading Lazarus number 23. Of course, drawn by Michael Watt, written by Greg Rucka. And I will say flat out, I think Lazarus is probably the most substantively important comic book being put out right now because of the issues that Greg Rucka tackles in that book, which is basically is talking about the rise of corporations, the dismantlement of democracies, and just the absolute amazing story building and world building that he's done over the course of 23 issues. And I mean, the best compliment I can give it, there aren't too many comic book series that when they put out a source book or a source issue, it is so laden with information that you're like, wow, I'm glad the book's not coming out for 2 months, so I have time to chew through it. When you saw how much attention to detail went into it, and having read the trades and Warren Ellis's his foreword to the original hardcover about how much work that Greg Rucka did into researching the world,
right.
And not to mention, if you buy the single issues, the dark humor of the fake ads that they put into the book for the various families, Lazarus is just a really intelligent, thoughtful, extraordinarily well done comic book. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think that there is a better seriously minded comic book in the market right now other than Lazarus. Personally, Lazarus 1, Valiant's Imperium would be number 2 in terms of monthly books that are coming out that are tackling relatively serious issues in a really thoughtful, entertaining, engaging way. And I mean, it's Greg Rucka. And when was the last time Greg Rucka wrote a book that wasn't a really enjoyable read? Now, it's a slow burn, so if you start reading with the first trade, realize you're making a 16-issue investment. You're not going to get the payoff right away, but when the payoffs start coming, it's my version of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Everybody in that book has their ulterior motive. You're not going to find it out in that issue, but if you stick around,
you'll get something.
You'll get something.
Yeah. All right. So before we wrap up, I did want to address 2 audience comments. Philip chimed in and said the boys is awesome. Well, in this case was. I would still recommend, if you can find any trades for the boys, get it, because it's a very funny, funny dark version of what it would be like if you really wanted to find out who's watching the Watchmen or who's watching the Justice League. That would do it. Rick Brown also said that Sam Wilson's Captain America issue number 10 dealt with today's issues on racism. Yeah, it's something that doesn't happen very often in books and needs to happen more. So on that note, I want to take the time out to thank the folks over at Fantom for having us. Esther and Raven, thank you. And we're going to be back here in about 2 weeks, especially right around the time of San Diego Comic Con. You can catch us on popcultureuncovered.com, where Pokemon Go seems to be the most popular thing this week. I'm sorry, but it happened. You can catch us on Twitter and Instagram at PC Uncovered. We have a Tumblr at Pop Culture Uncovered. We want to thank VA Comic Con for sponsoring us as well. And that's pretty much it from here. And hey, anybody want to tell folks where they can come down to Fantom and what they can get? Anything else you guys want to push?
All the good stuff. We got a bunch of really awesome Pokemon merch now.
I wonder who was responsible for making that order. Fantom Comics is located at 2010 P Street Northwest in Washington, D.C. Great store, great staff. Check it out.
Yep. Shop. Come get your shop on. Matter of fact, let's go walk around the store real quick before we leave out. All right, wave and say hi, y'all. Hi. All right, guys in the back, say hi. Woo! Hello. And that's it. So, on behalf of all of us, this is Pop Culture Uncovered. We're out.